Hello, everyone.
And wait, I'm gonna wait 1 second and it'll in 5 seconds.
Sure.
And it's everybody, hold on. There it is.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thrive once again. I'm Gad Levy Golan. Can you hear me?
I don't think you're on. There we go. Now you're on.
Is my voice on? Do I need to do anything technically?
No, you're good.
All right, so here we start. We go again. Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to Thrive once again. Beautiful morning of Chi moving and energy patterns. Thank you to Thrive and to Jordan. I'm Gad Levy Golan, and I'll guide you through an hour of energy patterns, Chi energy patterns, and particularly the question of how Chi affects your brain. How does Chi and movement and repetitive movement and energy patterns affects our brain? We will answer 3 questions. First is how repetitive patterns, energy patterns, build stronger neural connection in our brain. The second is the rewards we receive from our brain during the practice, the daily practice. And the third is connecting to our higher self. How do we connect to our higher, both cognitively and motorically, the higher self? We know we have different levels of cognitive abilities. When we're asleep, it's 0. We still dream, but in terms of being awake, our awareness is down, and when we're very alert, it's sharp, it's focused, it's our concentration at best. So that's a higher self, right? And you can drive and talk and pay attention to everything around you. You're using elements of this higher self. Okay, it's all about connections. Neural connections. Neural connections. So back to the first part. How does the repetitive pattern that we do now, we're now using a vertical energy pattern. Here's your toy. Your toy is rolling forward, and it can roll back like a wheel, but the wheel is not just on the ground, it also encompasses all of us, all of me, all of you. So here's a repetitive energy pattern. How does it build strong neural connection in our brain? Well, we have several parts in our brain. Amongst them are the visual part, or the visual cortex, and the motoric part, the motor cortex. Am I still on mute, Jordan? We had the first crash of Zoom for the day. As we see, it crashes, but then it comes back immediately after. So I'll just say what you might have missed, that our brain has 2 parts, amongst many few other parts. One part is the visual cortex, and the other part is the motor cortex. Shall we continue? So we back to this energetic pattern, the vertical energy pattern. We mentioned the two parts, the visual cortex and the motoric cortex. They have to talk to one another in order for us to move like this in a repetitive energy pattern. During each energy pattern that we practice, let's go back now. We strengthen the ties between those two parts of our brain. And that increases neural connection. How it happens? When one nerve cell talks to another nerve cell, and you are getting smarter. You are getting smarter. We'll see how. Carry a ball and flip the ball. When I flip the ball again, my center line has moved onto this leg. I flip the ball this way and I'm on this leg. So we are connecting action to motion. You also link those cells by paying attention to movement. And you can extrapolate that repetitive energy pattern, like flipping the ball here in North Pole to South Pole. It builds strong neural connection, neural structure of synapses, connecting your memory to the motion. If we do now, lion plays with the ball, carry a ball, and we move it now vertically, and you'll see tomorrow or the next lesson or the previous lesson, lion plays with the ball and you do it, your memory retains this movement, and now there's connection between your memory and your motion, between your memory to your motor cortex in the brain, motoric cortex. So, white crane spread wings, we open the body and we close the body. We open and expand, close the body and contract. The second question we wanted to ask today is about the rewards we receive from our own brain during the practice. What kind of rewards? Oh, great rewards. But the most unexpected reward is dopamine. The dopamine is released when we exhale and sigh. Inhale deeply. Exhale and sigh. Or when we experience a dosage of joy. We hear a joke, we laugh, we're happy for some reason. Our dopamine is released. Researchers shows that our motivation is also controlled by the neurotransmitter dopamine. It helps us to be more alert, and it's given to people as medicine, even if they're a bit passive, too passive. Of course, if they're lethargic. Dopamine also helps our cognitive ability by increasing attention to details and self-awareness connected to memory and language. Well, now you know, white crane spread wings, it's language. Memory is that you remember. But don't just remember to open and close your hands. I want you to pay attention to the foot it's empty. And now let's do it just the lower body. This one is full and this is empty. When I've done that, this one is empty and this one is full. So it's an absolute yin and yang. 100% of our body weight is here, 0 there. And when we go the other way, 100% is here and 0 there. That's called full and empty. These two values of yin and yang are the most significant values here, more than the open and close. Why? Because they, empty and full, involves the force of gravity. Here, gravity doesn't know about us, but once we place the foot and I deliver my body weight to that leg, I go down with gravity, and now we are one, connected to earth, using gravity, riding the wave of gravity. Empty and full. Inhale, last one, and feet together. Feet together, let's move our hip joints in circles and rotate. Yeah, feeling of joy, absolutely. Smile to yourself, activate those smile lines in your facial muscles. They do only good. I want to warm up my knees, warm up your knees, release the synovial fluid. Okay, not the other way. Another neurotransmitter is serotonin. Serotonin, which has a direct effect on our mood. It's also referred to as the happiness hormone. Those endorphins are great. They connect synapses, the connections in our brain. So serotonin is another neurotransmitter that's released during the repetitive energy pattern. And we're going to take the wave now as a repetitive energy pattern. The wave, we start to flow and push the river. Of course, we need our imagination. River is flowing up to our belly button, and we put our hands under the water and we push. We breathe in and we breathe out. Inhale, we're in the sky. Exhale, we're underwater. Now that starts to turn the wheel, right? Let's start to turn the wheel. And that wheel of energy that we are wheeling, that we are turning, turns also an inner circle inside us. And that's called first the outside, then the inside. Let's go the other way. Yes, so when we do that, we activate the body, we increase our feeling of vitality. In certain cases, it also can ease pain, the release of serotonin. Sometimes it helps us heal faster, allows better control of our emotional intelligence. Go the other way, smaller. Now small circles, so it's a small wheel. Where's my other toy that resembles our dantian? Dantian, I go around it. I go around this ball and it starts to turn. It's turning this way when I turn the ball this way. And when I go in this direction, it turns the inner ball this way. That inner ball is referred to as the lower dantian, or our center of our body, the central equilibrium, the center of our body weight. And we want to turn it around in small circles so we can find the middle axis of this circle. That means we connect to our own center line. We create neural connections between our body and mind. The muscular structure of the lower dantian forming this ball is your stomach, your pelvic floor, and your lower back muscles. Everything around here participates in that small movement. I want you to feel it. Excellent. Go the other way, and we move on. Okay, let's release now. The hands are wonderful suction cups of energy, but we release and loosen them up. If they work too hard, we don't want lactic acid to accumulate in the muscle. So we use them as swords, and we chop the air. Chop, 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 chop. We also swing forward and back. This time we focus our middle finger on some point in the on the horizon, and we lock the eyes on that target, and we now create muscle to eye connection, nerve to muscle connection, optic energy, visual energy to the physical energy. Change legs. We also sharpen the focus in our mind because we locked on the target, our eyes on one spot. We are focusing, and now we embrace the sky. Elbows outside means rib cage expand. Means lungs, don't just breathe shallow to the top of the lungs. I want to breathe deeply, like a whale, like a dolphin, big mammals underwater. So we take one deep gulp of air. And we release. Here is your sigh. Deep inhalation. Exhale, ride the wave of gravity, and sigh, relax. We can do it more gently. We don't have to get so up and down so much. We can do, you might recognize already, yes, the tiger goes out of the cave and climbs the mountain. The tiger resembles your inner strength, right? You can't climb a mountain without inner strength, perseverance, inner powers. The mountain resembles stability. Be stable as a mountain and flow like the great river. So we're flowing up, chi rises, chi expands, chi sinking down. Chi rise, spirit rise. Chi sinking down. Chi rise, spirit rise, expand, sinking down. All right. Now we gather chi and we release it. We gather chi and we release it. Come back to feet together. Sink down, rise with an inhale, gather chi, and release. See what happens now. I don't expand the hands anymore. My body recognizes this pattern. It says, oh, I know this pattern. It's like the wheel backward, wheel forward, yes. And so instead of going sideways, expand, I finish the release here and I slide back. And that's the easiest way back. The shortest way back. The most effortlessly. This way. That's what Tai Chi is. It moves the body in different energy pattern. Well, that's Qigong is the internal movement of the power. And Tai Chi provides us with energy patterns from 5 elements, from 12 animals, from different areas of traditional Chinese medicine. So we said the rewards of the brain. We said dopamine, serotonin, but the third part of our topic is how to connect to the higher self. How do this has to do, this energy pattern, the cloud hands, how does it lift me up to my higher self? Both cognitively and motorically. We said the visual cortex, following with the eyes, this hand, and the motoric cortex are now friends. We connected between them. We connected between them, and we created connections, neural connections. How does that take us to your higher self? Let's see. Let's release the times we live in. We live in times with a lot of unknown. And unknown is uncomfortable. We're not in a comfort zone to be in the unknown. It requires to overcome sometimes anxiety, sometimes frustration, and over worries about our health. It's a serious. One second, I need to connect the computer to the electricity, it tells me. Yeah. Sorry, had to take care of technical problems. So, never mind, where were we? Let's start new. We said we have to overcome stress, frustration, anxiety, and worry about our health. That's a serious concern of ourselves and our loved ones. And all this uncertainty in life requires that we provide the body, besides the cortisol, which is a stress hormone, accumulates and doesn't do any good for us. The opposite awakens things that are waiting to expand, diseases or issues, health issues. When we do the repetitive energy pattern, we release the negative baggage. We can release the stress out of our body, can release tension. So do it with vigor, do it with joy. If you don't bring your joy and enthusiasm into the practice, you won't do it. But if you will bring your joy and enthusiasm into the practice, just like you bring a joy, you can say, release the stress. Release and let go the tension. Cha, cha. And it happens automatically. But if you tell yourself and talk to yourself, it's even better. You created more connections. We said linguistic. Okay, let's choose another pattern. We hold the rope of our boat and we pull the boat. Pull the boat, we start to rotate our spine. This way and that way. And this way and that way. That rotation, just like the dragon that sleeps at the bottom of the back, the lower back, it rises along the spinal column up to the head when we do these spiral movements for the spine. So we release those good endorphins, dopamine, serotonin during the practice, and we basically lowering the risk of depression. We increase our self-esteem. We support our cognitive function on a higher level because we're moving different systems in our body. We coordinate left and right hemispheres of the brain. So we support the cognitive level cognitive functions of our brain, sending them to a higher level. And also by sharpening focus and concentration. I mean, let's do the ultimate focus and concentration is the bow and arrow. You are now in the Olympic Games and you shooting an arrow with the bow. So now you need to stretch the bow to aim and to release. These are three energies together. The physical energy, the stretch of muscles and joints and ligaments. The optical, visual energy, light waves of aiming. The mental energy of aiming and wanting to hit the target. So mental energy, visual energy, and physical energy. And upon the moment of release of the arrow, we release all the air out of our lungs, and that immediate sigh releases the neurotransmitters from the brain. So do it together, feel it happening. Cha! Release the sigh, have a big smile on your face. Inhale. Cha! Yes, we did it. This fake joy that we generate, cha! Sometimes the brain cannot differentiate and it releases the good neurotransmitters. So fake joy is great too. Let's take the first movement of Tai Chi, which is called the roll back. We're rolling back energy into our body. We start to notice that from North Pole to South Pole, we exhale, and deep inhalation from South Pole to North Pole. But what I'd like you to notice is not the North and South, not the inhale and exhale, that's obvious, but the poles themselves, the pause at the end of a round. Here I'm exhaling, pause. I'd like you to notice this pause. The pause, inhale, pause, exhale. Remembering the pauses ensures that we are in the zone, in the chi flow zone. You may ask why? What does it have to do? And I'll tell you that from the moment they cut your umbilical cord, you started to breathe in and out. You don't need anyone to tell you how to breathe. And the brain is unnecessary in that sense. The memory is not, and your guidance is not necessary. You're an automatic pilot. I mean, you can be thinking of the past or the future and still breathe. But if you remember the pause, inhale, pause, exhale, you are now ensuring nowness. Nowness means you are fully present here and now. You're not in the future, you're not in the past. You're fully present. Pause, inhale. Yeah, otherwise your mind can be like a monkey jumping to wandering. He's a wanderer. I can be exhaling and thinking, oh, my tummy, I didn't eat breakfast today. What will I do? I can inhale, think about the coffee that I may drink. No. When I pause, I don't think of anything besides exhale. Go with gravity, pause, inhale. Spirit rise. Exhale, pause, inhale, pause. That brings us to nowness, puts us in a level of the chi flow zone. Let's go back to the wave. See how nice and flowing is our chi here. It's been refined. Our chi is flowing and it's refined. How do you refine your chi? Chi is refined by its characteristics that you give it. To flow effortlessly is one characteristic of Tai Chi. Also the pace, to keep same pace. Don't start, stop, like a road with lights, street lights, traffic lights. No, you're on a highway. You are continuous. The continuity of the motion and the continuous pace, the same pace, these all gives the chi a certain character of flowing. The water element. Yeah, your chi is refined, means the rotation of 1, 2, 3 joints are flowing directly to the kidney behind it. One directly back to the kidney behind it. And now 2 feet parallel, we're going to horizontal circles. We worked today on this pattern with the wave. We worked on it with the line plays with the ball and with the vertical energy pattern forward and backward. These were vertical energy and frontal. Now we're going horizontal energy. Horizon, horizontal. How do we create horizontal energy? We place our hands on top of the water. One water level. We keep the hands on the same level, but we draw a circle in this hand and a circle in that hand. Not together. One at a time. 1, 2, 1, 2. We created 2 tornadoes. 2 energy cycles here that now can travel. First the outside, then the inside. I need my imagination to move the water. I need my imagination to start traveling inwards towards my inner landscape. If there's a tornado here happening under this, I want to find the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm and start to travel towards my elbows. You will realize your elbows is doing the same circle as the palm, but on a smaller scale. And then I continue from elbow to my shoulders. And I see that the shoulders are doing the same pattern like the hands on the water, but on a smaller scale. And if the shoulders, I travel to my hip joints. If the hip joints are doing these circles, then my spine definitely follows. And if my spine is in the game, my entire body, every cell in the body is now listening to this spinal cord, spinal column spiraling up and down, up and down. 1, 2, 1, 2. Every cell in my body is now being rewarded by this energy that the hands have generated.